Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Spencer.
And I'm Dan.
This is a Board Game Rundown. Today we are going to review this monster of a game that just came out from CMON's, filling on Kickstarter right now, Ankh, Gods of Egypt. This is basically number 3 in the Eric Lang trilogy of games that he did that started with Blood Rage, followed up with Rising Sun, and now we have Egyptian mythology with Ankh. So Ankh is territory control with a twist. Asymmetric factions. You are playing as a god of Egypt, vying because the Egyptian people are basically trending towards monotheism, and you are battling to be the mono, right? The one god that everybody decides to worship. And you're going to do that by controlling temples and pyramids and obelisks. You've got faction card, your faction card, which you can upgrade, which gives you different abilities. We've got devotion tracks that move up and down, well, not down really, but only up. There's guardians that you can summon. There's all kinds of stuff. Ooh, I don't even know how to unpack it. But basically, you just fight.
Right. So I guess, I would say it's an action selection area control game.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
If you need the simplest form, if you just sprinkled a little bit and that's all you need to know, that's what it is.
So
but it really is so much more.
Right.
Like a little tech track here.
So on your turn, basically you can perform up to 2 actions. And I say up to 2 because it just depends on what actions you're going to do. So if you're going to move figures, you can summon a figure, you can gain followers, and you could unlock an Ankh power. So moving figures is basically you just advance down the track 1, and then you can move all of your figures, any of your figures, from 0 to 3 spaces. And so this moves up 1, and then you move around, do what you want, and then now you can pick another action to do, but it has to be below the first action you did on this track, right? So I can't summon a figure and then move figures because it's higher up. So that's one way that you might only get one action.
Because if you chose Ankh Power as your first action, there's nothing below it. It's your only action.
Correct. The other way that could happen is that when these start moving down and they get like down here towards the end of the track, if you're the person that gets it to pop on the end, that triggers an event. That event might be building monuments, which is really cool. It lets you you sacrifice some followers, which are basically the currency of the game. These little guys here are the followers. You sacrifice them, and you can build a monument that you then control, which is super cool because monuments are awesome and they give you points and other abilities.
Monument, not building a monument.
Oh, building a monument is putting a whole new one
different.
out. Yeah, that's fine though. Because look. I just built a monument.
Ta-da!
But building a monument is different. Yes, controlling a monument, you have to have a figure next to it, and then you would take control of it by placing your little token right there.
It is cool, though, that, yes, all
They
3
hold it.
building types hold them in their own little way. It's so cool, interesting, and pretty easy to see. There was one character in the game whose color is a little similar to this color, so theirs is kind of hard to see, but everyone else, as you can see, this blue, it
that
pops.
was Toth, right?
Yes, I was playing Toth, and
Toth.
yeah, I don't know how to say it. I've always said Toth.
Yeah, sure, Toth. Sounds great. The other option you can do, so as this goes, if you trigger this event action, it ends your turn. Basically, you finish your turn.
Right.
You do your action, but you can't take any more actions.
Which is the other way you get one action is if you kind of
Trigger something
as your first action.
So there's control monument, control monument, control monument. Then you get to resolve locations. So the person who triggers that gets the tiebreaker token. A one-time use throughout this resolution, event resolution.
Per round.
Yeah, sure. And then you're going to go, each region is numbered, and these numbers can move around, so it's kind of fun. But then you just resolve each region. You're going to gain devotion based on, like, control. If you're the only one there, you're going to get extra devotion. If you control a majority of the different types of monuments, which could be pyramids, temples, or obelisks, that's devotion. And then if there are guys there, then you're going to do combat. And combat, I really like how combat works in this.
Got him right here.
Everybody has a hand of the same cards. And if you play a card, it's used until you play the one card that allows you to pick up all your cards. So they could add combat value. They might add things that will allow you to keep your units alive. There might be things that allow you to just gain devotion for losing units. There's Plague of Locusts, which makes everybody bid followers. You're going to spend your followers, and the person who wins doesn't lose anybody. The person who loses, or the people
Everyone else,
that loses, they lose all their stuff. What's really cool is that the gods never die. The gods are on the board. They never come off. Ever. Now, your little warriors,
Disposable.
different story.
Never is a long time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's true. They might eventually come off. But that's how combat's played. And then you also have to be strategic about it, because there are, you're going to have to think ahead, because
Right, how many regions there are?
how many regions are you going to be participating in?
Correct.
And also, maybe I don't want to battle. Maybe I want to use my build monument card, which is the one I was using the wrong terminology. But then that's where you actually build a monument in the territory you're at, and then you get control of it, which is super good. Really, monuments are one of the keys to victory.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then the other thing you can do, and this blew my mind, and I don't have the pieces out for it,
Yeah.
but the camel caravan. When you trigger the camel caravan event, basically you can place up to 6 camels in between the hexes, and that creates a new region. And the new region, or the region you split, there still has to be 6 hexes in each region.
Right. You can't partial off like two squares and be like, I own this whole area.
Right.
This land is my land.
But when
right.
you do that, then you put down the next number in sequence. But the region that you split, you might switch it. You might
you have the
exchange it.
choice
Yeah, you
to
get to-
swap.
So
Not
you
a
can make the region that was 1 and it was always resolving first in combat. All of a sudden it's a 5, and now it's resolving last, which can really mess with people's strategies and the
Right.
timing of when you're playing your combat cards.
Right.
We were isolating people's monuments so that they wouldn't have majority anymore, so I would now have majority, so on and so forth. And so this goes on and on and on until we get to the merge 2 gods. So you have to have 3 players and up, and I have only played this with 4 and 5 players. But when you get to the merge gods, it's a whole new world. It's pretty awesome. So the merging of the gods, you're going to basically take the gods that are in
2 in last
the
place.
2 in last place. The one who is less in last place
is the dominant.
is the dominant god, and then the one who is least in last place gets to put their little thing on the bottom. All of their stuff comes off the board. All of it. And it is potentially devastating. It is tide turning. It's crazy. But now, when it's that person's turn, you get 1 action, and you share abilities, and you've got like these merged cards, right? So
Yeah.
it'll tell you what the power is of who you merged with. So if Dan and I had merged, which we did last time we played, we now have both gods' abilities, but we were running off of Dan's board.
Right. Basically, none of his stuff matters anymore, right? So it's easy to maybe get confused, but like the follower count, the abilities that are selected, everything is now mine. The only thing that's his is I have his ability power.
I make my board to match his.
Right.
And then, yes, so Dan can do 1 action, and then when it comes around to my turn, I can do 1 action.
And
Right.
we also remove all the monuments that
Yes.
the other player owns.
Yep.
They're just
so
gone.
So it changes the whole board state. And it's really awesome because on theme, right, as we're getting later into the game, gods are forgotten, and so like these gods merge and become 1 to become more powerful. So you're trying to not be forgotten. The other thing that I really like, and this changes the strategy immensely when you go from a single player to a merged player, is normally when you're taking your 2 actions, right, you can only move figures once. Well, now Dan could move figures, and then when it comes around to me, I can also move figures because I'm my own.
Right.
own
So if you're
person,
sitting next to
or-
each other, you can potentially take the
Double
same
action
action twice,
twice.
which is
And-
the only way to do that.
Yes. And if used well, could be huge. It also helps advance the tracks quicker if you're trying to trigger events, which can make or break, games. And then when we get down to further down, what is that, the 4th conflict? After the end of the 4th conflict, if any of the gods are still in the red, they are forgotten. And they come off the board just like the merged god. So they come off the board, all their monuments are torn down and are gone. Now, I've never seen that happen.
Yeah.
Everybody by this round has gotten into the blue, even if by barely. And then basically the game will end with whoever's highest on the devotion track at the end of the 5th conflict, or instant win if somebody
Hits
hits the top devotion marker there.
Yep.
That's really like the quick and dirty of how you play. There's a lot of intricacies and details and special abilities. When you buy an Ankh power, so you got all these down here. These are all covered up. And when you buy an Ankh power, you start at the left, you work your way to the right, and you basically, you get one of these abilities, and then you get one of these abilities, whichever one you want. And then when you unlock that symbol, you get to take a guardian. And the guardians, there's several tiers of guardians. They've got special abilities. They do different things. They might let you summon extra units. They might add extra power. If your mummy is killed, it is immediately resummoned adjacent to your god.
That's so cool.
It's really cool.
We didn't play with that one. That's cool.
Yeah, I mean, cat mummy. If your cat mummy is killed, all other players lose 1 devotion.
Oh, weird.
So don't kill the cat.
So it does go down sometimes.
It does go down sometimes. Setet may end her regular move in an enemy space by moving them 1 space away.
Oh, okay.
Wow. Like push them,
Yeah,
basically.
Yeah.
shove them, yeah.
Yep. So there's all kinds of good stuff in here.
Yeah.
The guardian abilities are really neat. There's so many options that, I mean, I've played twice and haven't seen the same stuff and with different people. So I've seen different play styles.
You even saw the same god twice, and it felt
and it played completely
different. Yeah.
Completely different. And there's a ton of gods to choose from. Now, I had the Kickstarter version. I was a Kickstarter backer. So we are seeing some deluxe components. These are normally just little cardboard
That's a
guys.
lot to choose from.
Yeah, that's a lot of gods.
But there's a lot of gods.
That's why they had to cut it back to 1.
That's right.
They were like, I can't even hold all this with one hand, guys.
Yeah.
We gotta come back.
Way too many. Way too many. But all right, guys. So that's Ankh. Let's get into our
So the way we
thoughts.
do reviews,
Yeah, let's
right,
do it.
is there are 4 of us, and that'd be a lot of numbers. So instead, we are going to each give our own opinion, 0 to 10, and then we'll average those together. So you guys only have one number. You have to remember when Board Game Rundown rates something, and you want to look us up on Board Game Geek or anything like that.
all the things.
So this game.
Yep.
I just threw that piece.
Yeah,
oh well,
screw that
it's not
piece.
mine.
Yeah,
So this game was incredible. I am a big fan of Lords of Hellas. It's in my top 5 games of all time, and this game feels similar to me. It definitely has a lot of differences, but it feels similar to me. I think I like Lords of Hellas a tiny bit more, but I'm pretty sure Lords of Hellas has a 9 out of 10 for me, and I'm telling you right now, this game is also getting a 9 out of 10. I'm just jumping to it right now.
Sure.
I loved this game. A very controversial mechanic is the merge mechanic. Even before watching this review, you've probably heard the rumbles. People have been talking about it. I've only experienced it once through my play through, and I thought it felt great. It was a 3-player game. Earlier, Tim said he's played 4 and 5 characters. He's
Oh, yeah, it
played
was
3
3.
and 5 characters.
I have played 3 and 5.
Or players. But so we had the merge happen in a 3-player game, and it was literally as tight and close a game as it could be. It was a 1-point victory win in the last combat of the game. And if we had finished that round, we don't even know if it would have turned out the same because there was still more stuff to do.
Spencer has been obsessed with this for a week. All week. It's like, well, I think if I would have done this differently. And it's like,
that's the mark of a great game.
But you didn't.
Exactly.
And we won. You lose.
You lose, sir.
I said good day, sir. You lost. You get nothing. It felt good.
But yeah, so our merge mechanic, I don't think it changed the game state that drastically.
Yeah.
All it did was it allowed something that I thought was really cool to where it allowed the game to feel co-op for a second, to where Tim and I then sat on the same side of the table and we would be like, okay, so because I was playing Toth, whose ability is guess the card Spencer's going to play, and you get a benefit for that, and if you're wrong, he gets a benefit. So, Tim and I together now could be like, okay, well, he clearly needs to play one of those two, and that kind of thing, and it didn't change anything from what I felt, except that there was now this communication happening. And I was like, man, I kind of wish there was a co-op variant of the game.
And I will tell you,
this communication feels really good
as the low man on the totem pole there, right? I did not feel like. I mean, the only thing that sucked is that I had a bunch of monuments.
It
was
sucked
so
when it
beautiful.
first happened because
it's like,
you lost everything.
All this
all
stuff
went
I built
away.
up. But the second that Dan and I then started, like, okay, well, realign the thinking, right? And now it's a coordinated effort. And we were just right back into it, right? I mean, it's like you're still doing the actions. Dan picked some different Ankh powers
Right,
that
so
I
you had to change that
So I had to
play style
realign
too,
again
yeah.
my thinking, right? Because I was gearing up towards one style. Dan had a different style. Clearly, his was better because I was the one that merged. But that's fine. Being the person that merged, I was worried. And it did not. It did not negatively impact my game. I
was worried it was going to feel like player elimination.
Right.
And I can say from my perspective, you'd obviously have a slightly better view on this. I did not think it felt like that. I think it felt like a 3-player game became a 2-player game, and a competitive game became a semi-co-op game,
Yeah.
right? And I thought it felt really good. I was really happy because I was worried. I was like, this merge mechanic could be awesome and it could be terrible. And I think at the end of the day, after one full playthrough of seeing it happen, I thought it felt really good. But anyway, I'm giving Ankh a 9 out of 10. I'm even tempted to give it a 9.5 out of 10.
Yeah. But
But I have to think about what my Lord's Alice grade is because I like it a bit more.
Right.
So, but anyway.
It's like A and B.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Bobby, what do you got?
I enjoyed the game. There was a couple of mechanics I didn't really care for much. Like I know when we played with 5 players, I started up here and I ran out to those monuments and literally never had the opportunity to try to gain control of those monuments.
Because
And
you
that
were
felt
never in a
very-
position.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you were
that's
never
the
in a
same
position
problem.
to trigger
Every
this.
time one of these was going to be triggered, somebody before me
else
would
did it,
trigger it,
yeah.
and I never had the opportunity to trigger one myself. And that was super frustrating. But I did like how the elimination worked. I do like the choosing of the Ankh powers and the guardians that you could get. The bits are awesome. You know, I'm
Yeah.
a big fan of fancy bits. The splitting of the territories into multiples, huge fan of that. I thought that was really neat.
It just
You
changes
can manipulate
the way
yeah.
that the board state can change.
Yeah. Yeah.
I kind of love a little bit of chaos and territory
Yeah,
control.
not to jump in on Bob's, but just really quick, you're playing an area control game where you have the opportunity to choose the shape and size of the areas
Yeah.
and
Yes.
where they are. Like, that's so huge. But
I got
Yeah.
the book with this.
I'd probably give it an 8.5.
Okay.
Yeah. I like it. I've looked for it, trying to find a copy. I don't want to overpay for it. Maybe
Right.
I can
Don't.
trade for it.
Don't,
But
but
yeah,
yeah.
I'm gonna wait and see what happens. But obviously, I'd want to have something with the upgraded bits because
right.
cardboard
you want
bits.
the Tuma Wonders.
yeah, not even waterproof.
Gross.
Yeah, why even play at that point? I was just joking.
Spencer, what do you got?
Oh, I had a blast. I loved the game. Even though I lost.
Yeah, well, clearly you love the game
right.
because
Living
you were
rent-free in your
obsessed
head
with
for
it.
a-
It has been living in your skull.
It came down to I didn't realize that when they made it to the very end, it was an insta win.
Right, none of us
It would
did.
have it would
Yeah.
have changed my last move, and I'm going through the whole week going, well, what would have happened if I had changed my last move? And then it's just speculation and all this junk. No, I think
Way too big. That's way too big.
No, I think you guys may still have won, but it would have been even closer than it already was.
Which is funny to say because
Which
that's
is great.
one of the things I liked about the game is, like I said earlier, it came down to a 1-point victory in the last battle
Yeah.
of the last round. Or I think the second last battle of the last
Yeah.
round, but still, like,
It was real
just
close.
Fantastic.
Super close.
And but the reason I wanted to bring this up is because I was like mountains ahead of them when they merged. That was such a great catch-up mechanic because you guys were actually in danger of being both
forgotten.
eliminated,
Yeah.
forgotten, and then suddenly you guys just rushed up.
So this is something I want to. This is not the time to talk about this, but again, when the merge
do anyway.
happened, nothing actually changed. The only thing that
Oh,
I
no,
got,
no, changed.
the
happened.
only thing that I got, my map control was the same. The actions I took was the same. I gained his power, which I never used. So what was this? So how did the
You did
merge
use it.
How did but way
the
after
end,
we caught
in
up.
the last battle where you
What I'm
guys
saying
won.
is, how did the merge mechanic cause the catch up when literally nothing changed?
I will
because it
tell
was
you-
two people
Points
focusing
are now-
on one
Exactly.
instead of.
But it was
If
also
it
him
was-
focusing on one instead of two.
No,
it was the
but if
exact
it
same
was
thing.
1v1v1,
Well, all of his stuff's gone.
your guys' points would have been split between two people and not one person.
But so would have yours.
No, I would still be getting all the points that I earned.
What I'm saying is, you didn't have to
Dan
attack
still-
Tim and I separately.
Dan
you
still
had to
kept
attack just
earning the
us.
same points he was earning.
Yeah, I just don't
It's
understand.
not like I added my points to Dan's total.
Yeah. So I didn't have to attack Tim and Spencer, but you didn't have to attack Tim and Dan. It was it was a perfectly
Also, with
balanced
the
split.
elimination of all the monuments, it changed the board
was huge.
so
Oh, that was
dramatically.
huge.
It was
That
huge,
was a
but it
big
also, again, that all happened in the top territory that I never entered, except for my god at the very end.
It's true. But here's the other thing. Here's the thing, and this is my counterpoint to like Spencer and Bob's complaint about the,
Oh, it's
the
not a
moving
complaint.
or comment, right? About moving up.
was a complaint.
Moving up. And even the change of board state, because Spencer was invested with some figures
Yes.
up here. But what you need to do for future games, right, is you also now in your head, you're going to have to anticipate, like, okay, well, if I overcommit up here and they're eliminated, like, now I'm overcommitted up here and there's nothing here.
Or when you're getting later in the game and you see that Tim's in last place, you might just start retreating from that territory early and be like, you know what, Tim, you can have it.
Yeah, it may not matter as much.
Maybe I want to merge.
And so not just that part, right, but to Bob's comment and Spencer's here is three-dimensional chess sometimes, right? I mean, sometimes you've got to go, okay, I'm not going to take this action because I know, boom, boom, like I need the timing of it to come down to me. And so you have to then weigh the decision of...
But there were a number of times where it was like, I don't have the option of not taking one of these actions, and it's going to happen next turn. I'm not going to get it.
Right, because like all of them wind up in the last one. Sure, that happens
I mean,
anyway.
there's times...
That's the game, and that's how the game is played. I really love this system, the Ankh power system, because some of these, they work better than others off with each other. They can dramatically change how the game plays.
So what's your number?
I'm giving this a 9.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Absolutely a 9.
Yeah.
And I want to play again. I especially love, and we didn't really mention this too much, is how we set up the board in the beginning, but there's so many different scenarios.
Yeah, we just did one variant.
There are so many.
So there's a book just for scenarios, right? And so there's the Middle Kingdom, and it gives you 2 to 5 player setups. There's the Old Kingdom, 2 to 5 players. The Great Flood,
I love the look
which
of the
is
Great Flood.
specifically 2 players.
Right.
There's 2 capitals, 2 to 3 players, 3 to 4 players.
Delta's Bounty,
Yeah, 2 to 4 players.
Dynastic.
There's the Great Rebuilding. There's one you can download off of Simon's website. You scan a UPC code.
Oh, wow.
Or QR
That's cool.
code.
QR code.
And it'll give you, like, you print off
New
another
maps and stuff.
a couple new maps and stuff.
I appreciate that they do that kind of stuff. They do it for Zombicide too.
And this
You
is a
could
way that you could
potentially come up with your own.
Oh, for sure.
sure, yeah.
And this is a way you can expand on the game without, like,
Having to buy an actual expansion.
ridiculous
so the
expansions.
replayability is massive, especially with all of those creatures, all of the scenarios, all of these powers, all of the gods. Yeah, I want to play again.
So the first time I played this was an 8 for me. The first time I played it.
Yeah.
The second time I played it, and I technically did worse, even though I won, because I was the merged god. When the first time I played it in a 5-player game, I came in like second. It was really close. I mean, second, third, and fourth were all like right. So somewhere in there, right? I mean, I was right there. The second time I played this, I was the merge god, right? So I was the low man on the totem pole, even though I wasn't doing that bad because I was only like 1 or 2 devotion behind Dan when it came to the merge. And I thought I was going to, actually Dan had such a good round. I was ahead of him.
Right.
He passed me and I was not able to catch up as we were resolving future conflicts. And I'm like, oh, what is happening? Yeah, I mean, really. And again, I had all of my monuments tore down, but then but playing the game from the other side, right? Now I'm the merged god. That made this a 9 for me. Like just seeing the balance and how well, because I was like, this is an 8. You know, I like it more than Blood Rage. I'm not sure with Rising Sun, and like I think I like Lords of Hellas a little bit more. But getting to play this a couple times and see it with the different player counts, like this came out as a 9. Like, and I like Spencer. It's not even more of like, oh, what should I have done? It's like, I just need to play this again. I want to see I want to just play with a whole new set of gods, a whole new set of guardians. Like, I'm like the kind of player that it's like, I don't dwell on the old game. I want to play the new, like, I don't play on my previous, unless I did.
Which is why you never improve.
only because I made that mistake.
Sure. Right. But I mean, for me, it's like, okay, let's move on. Let's play another one. Let's get into let's play this again. Let's do this again. I'm going to try out some new things. Boom, 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 boom. And that's what I did is I played I was playing a different god, but I also tried a couple different powers and in different ways to do things. Like I specifically didn't pick some Ankh powers, even if I liked them, because I wanted to try
the other ones,
the new ones, and sort of try to find the synergies in there, right?
Yep.
So all of our scores kind of mixed together. 8.9.
Yeah. I really wanted it to break
solid,
9,
yeah.
but I'll take
Close.
it.
It's this wet blanket over here.
I know. Evidently, Bob hated the game.
Well, I did really well too, but I didn't enjoy this. Like it's just because with 5 people we had such a hard time.
Sure.
There was no way I could even manipulate this to trigger it.
Right.
It
Obviously,
never
in a
came up.
3-player game, it's much easier to see that ahead. Yeah.
I think you play this again, even if you played it at the same player count with having an understanding of the game. I think your experience will be not completely different, but different enough.
Sure.
You know,
Sure.
that.
And
know a little bit more.
we barely even talked about how beautiful are these minis.
Oh,
Yeah,
I mean,
well, they're Simon minis.
Yeah,
so-
they're
Simon
right.
minis, but I love what's his name?
The alligator dude.
That guy. show 'em off.
Pistachios.
Pistachios.
Yeah, this is a guardian that takes up 2 spaces, and he automatically is controlled by the lowest.
And he's got these mummies
player on
all
the devotion.
around him.
Yeah.
He's carrying them on it.
Yeah,
It's
fantastic.
It's a
Pretty
guardian
cool.
who's just a catch-up mechanic.
Yeah,
and I
great
love
catch-up
it.
mechanic.
It's fantastic. It's really well done. So Ankh is a home run, guys.
Yep.
It
Yep.
is an absolute home
If
run.
you like games like this, like
Get
you know,
this.
This might be my favorite
Blood
Eric
Rage, the
Lang
Rising
action.
Sun,
Yeah.
the
this
Lords
might be
of
my
Hellas.
favorite Eric Lang game.
I actually
Definitely.
like this better than Rising Sun.
Yeah.
Yeah, Rising Sun is. I mean, they're all different enough.
Yeah.
So there's room
They
in my
are.
collection for Lords of Hellas. There's room
Yeah.
in my collection
That's not Eric Lang.
for Ankh. No, but I'm just like games like this.
Sure,
Because
sure.
he's comparing it to Lords of Hellas a
Yeah,
lot,
yeah,
and I
yeah.
get that.
Yeah.
I agree with some of that, right? Because there's the action selection mechanic in there.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, Rising Sun, Blood Rage, for me, this trumps at least the Eric Lang ones. I'm kind of with Dan. I'm not sure. I have to play like Lords of Hellas and this in the same
Right.
week and see where we're
Right.
Yeah.
because I love Lords of Hellas.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
oh, it's such a good.
The
great
only
game.
negative thing about Lords of Hellas is I met you through it.
Yeah, that's the worst thing that ever happened.
Downhill from there.
but Ankh is freaking amazing.
Yeah.
It's really great. I absolutely love it. And this will be a game where anybody's like, "You want to play Ankh?" Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Already setting it up. So for the board game rundown, I've been Tim.
I've been Bob.
I'm a Spencer.
And I've been Dan.
We'll see you next time.
Thanks for checking out the Board Game Rundown. If you like what you saw, like, comment, and subscribe to our channel. Share our videos on social media and spread the word. We publish new content weekly, including reviews, unboxing, and Let's Plays. And as always, thanks for watching.